Okay, thanks everybody for joining us here. We've got a lot of Fizz to unbottle, so we're going to get cracking. So it's a real honor for me to be here on stage today with Justin from Coke. Prior to being leading creative strategy at Coke, he was in creative agency, so he has a creative agency background. And you'll see today in what we share, he brings a lot of that energy and passion into what he's doing and a lot of that expertise. So Coca-Cola is a truly iconic, incredible brand. One of the first brands I worked on, actually, when I joined at Kantar on my first day. And what you can see here, that's a tremendous achievement, is it's been the #1 food and beverage brand globally every year from a brand value perspective for the last 20 years. And then in the middle, we're looking at perceptions of the brand having great advertising. That's global data, and these are percentiles. So what we can see, the latest figure, it's in the top 6% of brands in the world for people, the audience that matters the most, feeling it has great advertising. And they had another absolutely phenomenal year again at Cannes this year. So I hopped from the Hexagon stage to here. And on the Hexagon stage, we were talking about nationwide and how they have this really clear magnetic north that sets the strategic direction for everything that they do. And that's a theme that you'll see coming through really clearly here today. But we're also going to explore how Coke taps into cultural moments, how it appears in culture, how it creates culture to really elevate its fizz and create brand magnetism. And one of the things that was special about Nationwide is they have such clarity of their strategic vision that they can fit it on a fridge magnet. So Justin, my first question is, if you were to put your strategic vision for Coca-Cola on a fridge magnet, what would it say?
So I think, and thank you, Lynn, thank you for having me. I think that Coca-Cola's strategic vision is something that we always come back to. A lot of the time it's a feeling, and that feeling really is about moments of shared connection. For a very long time, for years, for decades even, we've been championing that thought, bringing inclusiveness, togetherness, and trying to bring people together. We are a brand and a product that you experience in the flesh, but as much as possible, we're trying to get people together to lift themselves up and to have a great time together. So a lot about shared moments of connection, and that's what really guides us. Does it feel Coke is often what we're saying is, does it bring people together?
Okay, that'll fit in a fridge magnet, I'll let you have that. So what's really true about Coke, and is true of really iconic brands, is they don't just chase culture. They connect with culture in a way that really charges their magnetic field. And I like to think of this as fishing in the river of culture with your own brand magnet. So you're only attracting things that really align with what you're all about. And having cultural vibrancy today isn't an optional thing, it's actually a business imperative. And you can see here today some data from Kantar that shows when you get it right, if you're a vibrant brand, you grow 6 times more than brands that have low cultural vibrancy. And that's really a huge part of Coke's fizz, is this sense of vibe. So being really visionary, inspiring, bold, and exciting. And that's how we look at it at Kantar. So what we're going to walk you through today, and Justin's kindly going to share the journeys they've been on, are 6 ways of really engaging with culture to build the brand's magnetism, but also talking about how those moments in themselves are magnetic, and how the campaigns, the elements within them are magnetic, so how they stick together. So, Justin, let's start with the Olympics. Why is this such an important initiative for Coca-Cola as a brand?
Of course. So Coca-Cola has been a partner of the Olympics for, well, it will be 100 years in LA in 2028. That is a phenomenal partnership. And the reason why we're so keen to work with the Olympics is because if you look at the Olympic values, what they stand for, and you put them next to what we stand for as a brand, they're pretty much identical. And it's so there we want to really kind of bring people closer to the Olympics through Coca-Cola to really kind of have that kind of intersection, that Venn diagram where we can really lift each other up. It's really a great kind of measure of pride for me to work on the Olympics last year. And the campaign that we brought centered around this idea of connection again. Our kind of overarching thought was, it's magic when the world comes together. And when the Olympics happens, 200 countries descend into one city. That is a kind of supercharged moment for when cultures, beliefs, thoughts, people come together, and you have this amazing merging of and sharing of all those ideas, and there's a lot of fun to be had with that idea. That is something that Coca-Cola truly believes in, and we expressed it in loads of different ways across our kind of end-to-end journey. So whether that was our food festival, where in line with its magic when the world comes together, why don't we find amazing chefs from all over the world and bring them into a food fest in the center of Paris and get people to experience all of those amazing culinary those culinary creations from across the world, all enjoyed, of course, with a Coca-Cola, and that was one of the ways that we celebrated. We worked with the what's it called? The Athletes Village, and we worked with Snapchat, and we had a huge vending machine that would vend Coca-Cola and merchandise, but only when people from different countries and cultures would come together to have and play a game with Snapchat. So all of the different touch points that we operated in for the Olympics, and we celebrated them above the line, on social, and all those amazing different parts, we're all trying to kind of stay true to that magnetic north of bringing people together and celebrating the magic that happens when those cultures come together.
Thanks, Justin. And for me, it's a really brilliant example of something that's a real truth for Coca-Cola as a brand. So that idea of inclusion, people coming together, and we've got data here. You can see data from Oxford Side Business School and the Unstereotype Alliance using Kantar data, which shows that when you're more inclusive in your communications, you get greater results in both the short term and the long term. And then what you're seeing on the other side of the chart is data from our Kantar pre-testing solution, Link Plus, which basically shows the same thing. So that inclusiveness delivers income. It's not only great for society, it's also great for your brand.
It's something that we really believe in. No matter what the geopolitical spectrum says, we believe in it. We're going to keep doing it, and it's something that we're really proud of.
Brilliant. So how about Share a Coke? Tell us more about this campaign.
Yeah, so Share a Coke first came out about 10 years ago. It was a phenomenal success, but it was quite simply a packaging experience where we put different people's names on a pack. People love that kind of thing. That's why tourist shops always have, registration plates with your names on. But where we wanted to bring it back this year, because we felt that, culture had moved on significantly, that we wanted to kind of enrich in what sharing a Coke truly meant. So a share now with Gen Z and how they interact with each other, a share isn't just a transaction. It really, when you share something with a friend, it's about seeing them and showing what you mean to them. Whether that's a little meme or something bigger, it's really getting in touch and saying, do you know what, I see you and I really kind of value our relationship. So this time around, when we brought Share a Coke back this summer, it was really trying to put meaningfulness into that experience across all our end-to-end, again, like digital experiences. We had, amazing above-the-line work, but we also had a meme maker where you could come together with a friend through Coca-Cola and create your own memes, not just rely on memes from culture, create your own memes. So it was really about kind of dimensionalizing what Share a Coke meant for the modern generation, and still, back to our magnetic north, always about connection.
Yeah, brilliant. I was delighted last night. I found my son's name. He's called Elliot, and it was spelled with 2 T's. So I'll be taking that home with me. And what that campaign shows, and we saw it through the Olympics, you'll see it through all of the other examples that we've got here, is the individual elements themselves are magnetic, but you also manage to achieve fantastic magnetism across the different elements of the campaign. So they work together really cohesively, and they align really clearly with that magnetic north.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's something that in our kind of creative reviews, one of the key pieces of things that we do is just your gut check on whether it feels Coke, and whether it feels Coke, whether it's true to that magnetic north. And even because Coke is so known and well loved, a piece of feedback that we can give our agents that we work with is like, it's not quite Coke. And not a lot of brands can say that, and people know what you mean. like it does it feel a bit too kind of like edgy? It's not maybe kind of verging into Pepsi. Does it not kind of resonate with and have that kind of innocent feeling to it? Like that gut feeling is something that we have earned because we've been consistent over many decades around that magnetic north.
Brilliant. So you're famous for these big global campaigns that we've talked about, and we've talked a lot about having a magnetic north. But the content you create has also got to be magnetic to a specific job to be done in a specific market, and it really also needs to resonate locally. So we're moving on now to talk about campaigns that are locally resonant, and two specific examples from the Nordics that are absolutely fabulous.
Yeah, well, I love these two examples, and I think that, you know, a brand the size of Coca-Cola's could very easily come up with some kind of high-order campaign and just tell our markets, just roll this out, we've worked on it, you know, it's all very nice and it's great. But the power of the brand lies in its meaning to people in where they interact with it. So we have to take those higher-order thoughts and apply local insight with the help of Kantar and other partners to really make sure that we're driving relevance for our consumers. So the specific case study in the Nordics is a particular issue because Pepsi were the first people to arrive in the Nordics with their cola. And so we are the challenger brands in that particular market. So we take up a really different positioning compared to most other markets in the world. And so we're struggling for relevance in the Nordics. So working with Kantar, we really tried to understand how we could really add value to Nordic culture. And I think, you know, with the examples that I think we're going to show, is something that we're really proud of.
Let's take a look.
So we're really proud of how that came together, and it was really effective for us, as you can tell by those results. The next case study in the Nordics was trying to position Coca-Cola as the perfect partner for tacos. Now, strangely enough, Norway is the biggest consumer of tacos outside of Mexico, and something that they're really proud of. But given the market position of Coca-Cola, people often don't think that tacos and Coca-Cola go together. But they are proud of their taco heritage in Norway, strangely enough. So what better way to shine a light on where the home of tacos, how those guys enjoy their tacos. They enjoy them with Coca-Cola. So where there are tacos, there are Coca-Cola. So we really kind of shined a light on that particular Mexican culture, but applied it to that Norwegian landscape. And it was a phenomenal success. It's something that we're going to build on year, and something that we're really pleased to have tapped into, is like shining a light on Mexican culture to then inform Norwegian culture.
Okay, so the other thing that brands can do really powerfully, especially a big iconic brand like Coke, is fishing culture to find the ways in which people are using them. So see how the brand is woven into cultural fabric.
Yeah, this example it performed quite well at Cannes this year. We're really pleased that we could kind of leverage something that we're really fortunate as a brand to have. We exist in films, in TV shows, but this particular example, it was shining a light and celebrating our history within literature. And that's something that we're really pleased and proud to have put forward.
Tennessee, Stephen, Harper, Napal, Jack. Writers whose works started as words on a page, turned into books that shaped culture around the world. Legendary authors whose stories spanned across monumental moments in history. They built worlds we escaped to. Beloved characters we yearned to meet. And written into the hands of these iconic characters was a Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola presents Classic. We searched for mentions of Coca-Cola in novels from all around the world. We started by scouring the pages of literary classics. We then researched deep into each author's creative process, sourcing the exact typewriters they used. All brought to life in an integrated campaign, in the most authentic way possible. We used the same typeface and the original layout from the first editions, publishing them just like they were back then, through letterpress printing. Hot off the press, we scattered the pages out into the world, from out of home to magazines, films, and on audio platforms, where original readings from the books were aired.
Sharing a bottle of Coca-Cola.
Coke really is a cultural icon. It is something that cuts across generations, and it means that it evolves with classic novels. It grows with them.
Hypes, trends, and movements may pass, but a classic remains.
I don't know about you guys, but watching all this Coke stuff gives me goose pimples. Yeah, really, really inspiring stuff. And there are another couple of examples here that I also think are fabulous. I'll leave Justin to tell you a bit about them.
Yeah, very quickly, this one over here, meet me at the Coke sign. The Coca-Cola sign has been in downtown Sydney for 50 years. And although it's just a simple piece of large format advertising, it actually has been the canvas for which so many amazing stories have unfolded. So much drama, romances, heartbreak. It's been a place of safety for certain people. And to commemorate the 50th anniversary of that particular billboard being put up, we shone a light on all of those amazing stories, thereby placing Coca-Cola as part of culture within Sydney and part of that kind of urban fabric. And again, going back to the Magnetic North, it was all about connection. It was all about the meaning that Coca-Cola had and that sign had for the people of Sydney. Same also for the Shades of Red, which did well at Cannes this year, but a different type of connection. That was about the connection that you have at your local bodega, where you pick up a Coke on the streets of Mexico. And we saw that as those Coke awnings, those red canopies had kind of got diluted in color over time. They've got holes in, they start to look a bit tatty. So there were 12,700 awnings that needed replacing. So rather than just sweep in and replace them back to our Coca-Cola Red, we honored that partnership that we've had with those stores, who account to 48% of the market in Mexico. And we made advertising out of those particular awnings. We made bags out of them. We made clothes. We put them in frames. We even changed our Pantone of our cans to match the faded awnings of those shops. Something that really touched the hearts of all those store owners and shone a light on just how woven into the fabric of those communities Coca-Cola is. So I think we're really pleased with how we're still, over all these years, over all these decades, sticking to our magnetic north. Even though we wobble occasionally, sometimes we get it wrong, sometimes we lose sight of things, but most of the time we're pretty dead on, and that's why we're able to put the amazing work out in the world that we do.
Okay, so we're running short on time, so what I do want to mention though is we wanted to go on to talk about collaborations and partnerships. We've got some fantastic data to share about how to get that right. There's a report we've just released. So the Kantar banner is in the corner. If you want to get hold of that, come and give us your name and we'll send it to you. But I think Coke have been on a really interesting journey in terms of using creators and getting that right. So rather than focus on the data here, which shows how building a collaborative relationship is really important, perhaps, Justin, you can just share key lessons about how to get this right.
Absolutely. So we worked with some creators and influencers for our most recent Meals campaign. And I think previously the journey that we'd been on was the influencers was a line on a brief. Whereas now these days, it's the entire brief. And we, with this particular example, worked with creators and they shaped the narrative around their style and their audience rather than trying to mold to what Coca-Cola wants. And it's that kind of like flipping of the script that really makes you kind of embrace what is amazing about social media and creators. And so therefore, we are kind of much more likely to appeal to those creator audiences rather than try to kind of pull people to us. So it's about kind of making sure that you're shaping the narrative in line with what your audience want to see, rather than trying to force them and interrupt what they love, try and become more like the things that they love. So, yeah, a great little example, a couple of French creators there.
So there are other collaborations the brand's got, like Oreo last year, where they were besties. They've got Labubu dolls that have just been released.
Yep.
I want one. You've got the Star Wars partnership. So, but again, these collaborations all align with that magnetic north. And then finally, we've got the music partnership, which feels like it's really part of Coke's DNA and the experiences that you deliver.
Yeah, music is our number one passion point. Bigger than sport, bigger than football, bigger than meals. Music is what really brings people together. And what better way to celebrate that moment, those moments of connection, than festivals? Yes, we work with loads of festival partners, but in Spain in particular, we actually have our own festival, entertaining tens of thousands of people over a weekend and providing a platform for amazing artists. And we do that with Real Thing Records as well, which has just launched a couple of weeks ago. We know how hard it is for musicians, young musicians, to enter into the industry. So why not work with them to create a platform that is shaping how they want to enter into the world of music and giving them an audience and a platform to really show their amazing work. So we're really pleased to start to build out our IP and really bring our audiences to the amazing things of culture that we want to shine a light on.
So the final thing to share, I don't have time to talk about it. Mike's giving me the nod, we're out of time, but maybe you want to screen grab this and take a photo. You know, this stuff works because it's magnetic to the brand's north. It's magnetic to the audience it's trying to make a connection with, it's earning attention. It's magnetic to the brand. It's designed to win where it will be experienced. And you've also got that magnetism across all of those experiences. So I also want to say, Justin stood in at the last minute. Marta unfortunately couldn't be here, so please give a special round of applause to him and also to Marta, who couldn't be here. Thank you very much.